Sister Veronica, you're the congregational leader of an amalgamated community of the Sisters of St. Joseph, 4 of the 6 communities, I think, in Ontario. That's happened now for a couple of years. What has that been like? What's been the impact on the Sisters of St. Joseph over these last few years?
Well, I suppose you'd have to ask each one of them, because I'm sure the reactions have been different. For the most part, I think we've grown closer. That's part of it, with one another. We're more conscious, I believe, of each other. The other impact, I think, might be that we've had to kind of face the challenges that are facing all of religious at this time, at least many religious, and we've had to sort of face them together. And that provides a very rich context for decision making, but it's also a little more complicated to look at things like how we shall look after our large properties and use them to continue the mission and to continue care of ourselves. It's a little simpler when it's just one congregation that has known everybody all her life, and but this way we've had to stretch a little, and I think the sisters, for the most part, they've been good for that, but it has taken a little toll on some.
A move like this is a sign of the times, so to speak. It's just the reality of the church world, of religious life in the church today. Talk to me a little bit about those signs. What are the things that you see happening at this moment in history that are having a profound impact on religious life, and maybe vice versa, what impact religious life can have on the church and on the world at this time?
Well, I think the largest impact and the largest effect of our present situation is the fact that we are no longer have the demographic to hold our institutions and care for them. And so we've been finding for some time now ways to, shall we say, put together our efforts in various groupings, federation, now amalgamation, so that we can shore up to some extent what we have been doing, but at the same time face the fact that we will no longer be serving in those ways. And that in itself is quite a challenge, because that has been for some few hundred years, that's been our expression of what we call our charism or our ministry. So the change in the demographic means that the very core of our life has not changed in any way. We're still trying to live out of our relationship with God and our service of the neighbor. But we have to see what sort of expressions we can manage with the people we have, with our age and our frailties, as well as what strengths we have, particularly together. So that has been a big change. But the other one, the second part of your question, is really interesting to me, because many of our congregations have become very much aware of what we call evolutionary consciousness and how things have evolved. And when we made a new direction statement for this amalgamated entity, it was embracing evolutionary consciousness. And that has so many implications. I mean, our context has changed. It's changed radically. And so that means that, first of all, I think we have to be able to understand that and try to move with it and find ways to express who and what we are in a context which has changed everything, through the scientific world particularly, and through the theological reflections upon it. It's had an enormous effect on how we understand God, how we understand the universe, how we understand our connection to all of creation. And so when you're dealing with a group of women who are all at different stages, there's a kind of a governance or a leadership challenge to try to bring out the best in all of us and know ways to take capital T tradition that we come out of and find ways in which we preserve the best of that and still somehow move into something.
Certainly a challenge, but a hopeful one at that.
Very hopeful.
Sister Veronica, thank you very much.
You're most welcome.